Welcome. Today we're diving deep into the Bhagavad Gita to talk about Dhyana Yoga. You can think of it as an ancient, really practical path for mastering the one thing that often feels totally out of our control, our own mind. So let's explore how this timeless wisdom can help us find a little bit of stillness in our very, very busy lives.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever tried to just quiet your thoughts, only to find them swirling even faster, more chaotically? If you've ever felt that your mind is this turbulent, powerful thing that's impossible to tame, well, you are definitely not alone. You know, this exact struggle was described thousands of years ago in one of the world's most profound spiritual conversations. And the solution it offers? It's just as powerful and relevant for us today, especially in our super overstimulated world. So why is the mind like this? Why is it so wild? Let's start by looking at how the Bhagavad Gita actually diagnoses this universal human condition. It totally gets how restless, turbulent, and strong our minds naturally are.
So picture this. You're on a battlefield, and the legendary warrior Arjuna turns to his guide Krishna and basically just vents his frustration. He says, "Krishna, the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. To subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind." I mean, who can't relate to that feeling, right?
Now, here's what's so cool about this part of the Gita. There's a big shift in focus. The earlier chapters were all about action, like what are our duties in the world. But right here, the whole conversation turns inward. It stops being just about what to do and becomes all about how do you manage your inner self while you're doing it. And that, right there, is the foundation of self-mastery. And then, the Gita hits us with this really radical idea. It suggests our mind isn't inherently bad or broken. Not at all. Instead, the role it plays in our life, whether it's our greatest ally or our absolute worst enemy, it all depends on one thing: whether or not we've trained it.
Krishna's words here are just crystal clear. The very same mind that cooks up all our anxiety and distraction can become the tool for our own peace and clarity. The only difference is what the Gita calls conquest, or as we might say today, gentle and consistent training.
This really breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you have the conquered mind. It's your best friend. It leads to calm, stability. But on the other side, an unconquered mind acts like your greatest enemy, just getting pulled around by every little desire. So this brings up the big question, right? How do we get from that side over to the other? Now, Krishna totally acknowledges that this is hard. He gets it. So he doesn't just leave Arjuna hanging. He offers this really practical, two-part strategy, a path that really anyone can walk. Okay, the first tool is abhyasa, which means practice. Now, this is not about forcing your mind into submission. It's the gentle, patient, and repeated effort of guiding it back over and over again. Every single time your mind wanders, you just calmly bring it back. Seriously, think of it like training a muscle. It just needs consistency, not aggression. And the second tool is vairagya, or detachment. This is the wisdom to let go of our obsessive need for things to turn out a certain way. It doesn't mean you stop caring or that you don't give it your all. It just means you free yourself from that emotional roller coaster of needing a specific outcome.
And here's the beautiful part. They work together. Detachment, vairagya, kind of starves the restless mind of its fuel, that constant craving for results and shiny objects. And at the same time, abhyasa, the practice, gives the mind a new, healthier place to rest. So you're basically cutting off the power to the distractions while beefing up your focus.
But this path isn't just about what you do when you sit down to meditate. Before we even get to that, the Gita makes a super critical point. Self-mastery starts with our everyday habits. I mean, you can't really expect to have inner peace if your outer life is total chaos, right?
This verse is so practical, it's amazing. Krishna points out that a state of mental balance, which is what yoga is just impossible if our basic life habits are all out of whack. Extremes in any direction are always going to throw the mind off balance.
So the key is moderation, finding that sweet spot, that golden mean. And this applies to everything: what you eat, how much you sleep, how you work, even how you relax and have fun. Real discipline isn't about some extreme, painful lifestyle. It's about finding a sustainable, balanced path right down the middle. It's really just common sense, isn't it? A machine that runs 24/7 without any rest is going to break down. It's inevitable. Well, our body and mind are no different. They need a good, regulated rhythm of activity and rest to work at their best. This balance is like the fertile soil where meditation can actually grow.
Okay, so once you've started to get your lifestyle a little more balanced, the Gita gives these clear, simple steps for the actual practice of meditation. And it's not some mystical, out-of-reach thing, it's a methodical technique.
Look at how structured this is. First, you get your external environment right. A clean, quiet place helps create calm. Then you prepare your body with a steady, comfortable, upright posture, which helps you stay alert. Next, you steady your gaze to limit all those distracting things you could look at. And only after all of that external stuff is settled do you start the inner work, gently guiding the mind back to its focus again and again.
But what if you try all this and you just feel like you're failing? What if your mind is just too wild, or life gets in the way and you fall off the wagon? I think this is a worry every single person has when they start something like this.
In response to this universal fear, the Gita offers one of its most comforting reassurances. It promises that no sincere effort is ever wasted. Every single time you try, every moment you gently bring your mind back, you are making progress. The goal isn't to be perfect overnight. It's about constantly and gently staying engaged with the process.
So this is so important. We have to reframe the goal. It's not about getting to a place where you never have a distracting thought again. That's just not realistic. The goal is to build that inner muscle, that ability to guide your mind back where you want it to go, gently and persistently, time after time.
And in the end, this inner practice is meant to completely change how you live in the outer world. Meditation isn't an escape from life, it's more like a training ground that allows you to engage with life more fully, with more compassion, more clarity, and more peace. The true yogi sees that same divine spark in everyone and acts for their well-being.
And that leaves us with a final, pretty powerful question to think about. The path of Dhyana Yoga suggests that mastering our own inner world is the most important project we could ever take on. Because by training the mind, we don't just find some personal peace. We actually gain the freedom to navigate the outer world with purpose, with poise, and with an unshakable strength.